This is the story of the super force of space explorers. More than me.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Before we get started today, there's going to be some shit you may not want to hear when we talk about this episode. If you are squeamish, if you don't like controversy, if you don't want to hear any of this, then leave now. I've never said that before in a show. I've never felt the need to say that before in a show. But if you are easily offended, back out now. There's the door. Since I'm having said that, welcome my co-host Dave Bob, Clobberin Times, and of course the Lady Arwyn Avalon. Good morning.
Morning, y'all. Hey.
And good morning to the chat. Good morning, Leah Rose. Good morning. She says, morning, all of Valhalla. Good morning, Leah Rose, Zeropian, my brother. What he says, see you later. I'm out. It's too controversial for me. Psychodorb 9 says, bring it. I'm sorry. Psychodorb 9. Dega Outlaw, I told you my opinion yesterday during the member stream. Yes, you did. Speaker in the truck today. I think he is doing harvest with his family. I think that's what he told us last week was I won't be there next week. I might be able to make one of the later ones. I don't know yet. But good morning, Daryl the Derelict. Good morning, everybody. Just Mark. The Wrenches of Ragnarok are here. He said, weird, my avatar vanished. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. It's gone.
Fat
It's just
Steven ate it.
little. Oh.
Oh my God, you shit.
Oh. He ran over it with his forklift and then he ate it. Roadkill. Shockwave. Good morning. Good morning, Shockwave. Good morning, DJ Ronnie G. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys have had a great week. Kamikaze D. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys have had a great week. And we're here to talk Orville. and opinions vary. So let's get to it. What a crazy ass world we find ourselves living in, where we get an episode like this that it has divided people. It has divided people. People are afraid to talk about it. People have backed away from talking about certain aspects of it because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get shit canned. They don't want to get blacklisted. They don't want to get turned away because they have an opinion over a television episode. To me, that's fucking crazy.
That's the world we live in, though.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
Good thing I'm old as I am. I can't be canceled.
Yeah.
But to me, isn't that what makes something interesting?
No, this show
when you
didn't
can
do
have
that before.
something like a show, whatever it is, whatever the show is, makes you think, makes people talk.
No, this show didn't do that before. It used to be pretty good at presenting fairly balanced, nuanced arguments, even though you kind of knew where they stood, and left it ambiguous and did it and wrapped it around an interesting science fiction story. It did nothing like that. The past 2 weeks, that's gone.
There's no science fiction in it anymore. Right now, it's just pure.
Right.
You know,
other than hiding by certain science fiction tropes, like the character of Topa, we all know, although now I don't know why she's 12 years old all of a sudden, which again, that's just, there's a science fiction trope of we age a child character, a newly born character up so we can use them. It's been done to death in science fiction. That's what was done here. Other things, like we all know that Topa was born, was as a child changed against with no consent, with actually one of the parents not consenting. We all know that storyline, which is not applicable to reality that we live in now. It hid behind several science fiction tropes so it could use a cudgel against those that it disagrees with. And the Orville was always fairly, it would say something other than a definite, easily provable, bias against religious folks, which it did have because McFarlane has that. It was always very fair-handed. You come away from a very disturbing episode thinking, finding that this was a really quite a fair way to approach a topic. That's gone now. And it's because he's no longer at Fox. He hated Fox. He's now at Disney, and now he can do whatever he wants. And the show has gone from being a thoughtful science fiction show to Seth MacFarlane's Twitter page. That's all. Let
me ask you a question. When the original, because this is a continuation of other episodes. It seems like so far this season, we have got continuations of things that happened in previous seasons. Besides the people turning into giant bug episodes, that's the only episode we've got that's like standing on its own episode. And that wouldn't have happened unless there was a previous relationship with the Cainlawn. So even that you could kind of grandfather in as this is a continuation of another storyline, even though most of it was original. But this episode, today's episode, The Tale of Two Topas, could you not see this coming back when they did the original episode where they dealt with the male or female division in the Mocklin Council? Because I saw this coming. I saw this coming again when they had the holodeck episode where there's nothing but Mocklin man meat on the holodeck, and it's like an orgy of Bortises on the holodeck. I saw all of this coming. The breakup with Clyden, the switchback of the sex for their child. I saw all of this happening seasons ago.
They were setting it up, but in those episodes that were done intelligently, they were not beating you in the face with something, and they were being, which made them far more effective and powerful.
Yeah.
This is a sermon. That was a question. They were putting questions out there for everyone. Sure, you know where they stood, but they were actually there was nuanced arguments to be made. It was uncomfortable in a very good way. Again, it was imaginative. It was intelligent. None of that happened last night in that bore fest of the sermon that they put together. It was all, you are this, and you are Clyden, of course, has been set up. You're right about setup. Clyden, they have been setting him up, and now Clyden was used to, if you don't follow in lockstep of what we're saying here in this episode tonight, you are Clyden. In other words, you are a bigot. That was never done before on the show until last week and now.
Yep.
Not even in the first few episodes of the season.
Well,
this is turned into Seth's soapbox, is what it is. It's his soapbox.
It's what he is.
Yep.
Y'all, I didn't see it that way. I didn't.
Sorry.
Tell us how you saw it.
Apologize to me, Clobby. I mean, I'm a woman. I have my own mind. I don't mind if y'all, if everyone in the world disagrees with what I see out of an episode, I'm secure in that. I'm okay in that. So it's all good. It's all cool. I saw a lot bigger themes than just, okay, we're supporting trans. I saw a detransition story. I saw a story of a relationship between a child and her parents. I saw the breakdown of a marriage through different goals, miscommunication. That scene where Bordis is with Kelly, and y'all have to excuse me, I have a throat lozenge in my mouth, where he breaks down.
Yes.
And he's crying. That broke my heart because parents aren't always right. I don't know how many times I've had to apologize to my kids for shit that I thought was best for them, that I made decisions, and at the end it was wrong. And it's kind of like, what is worse in this situation? You know, what is worse? Not telling somebody the truth, or because you think it'll hurt them, or the lie that you make that surrounds that at the end of the day. And yet there are a lot of themes here. Everyone's saying it's just about trans, it's just about trans, it's just about trans. Detransitioning is very real in this country, and is very taboo. And this is a story at the end of the day. It's not just a little kid who grew up and said, I want to be this or I want to be that. Something was taken from her at the very beginning. She was changed, and she was trying to revert back to her natural state. And I think a lot of that's getting lost.
But that was cover.
Themes. How was it cover?
That was science fiction cover.
It happens, exactly Clobby. It happens. Shit like this happens.
This was science fiction cover to talk about how it's okay for meddling, for example, meddling outsiders to meddle in the family's business and then be basically backed by the state.
But it wasn't.
I don't agree with that.
She was wrong. She even said, you know what? I mean, I shouldn't have done this, and I'm sorry. She even said, I went a little too far. But then once it was out there, and once the child was, Topa was like, I don't feel right. Then everyone did get involved to try. And so, I mean, shit, she even went to Isaac. And since we're going controversial, let's go controversial. What is suicide like, Isaac? That was powerful, because it doesn't matter if you're trans. It doesn't matter if you're, I hate this term, cis, but I'm going to use it because that's what we're talking about. It doesn't matter if you're a nerd, if you're a geek, if you're an outcast, if you feel lost. It doesn't matter who you are. We have all felt lost in our own skin. We have all felt downtrodden. We have all felt, I'm not good enough. So I think we focus, and I get what you're saying. It was pretty on the nose in some areas, but we have all been there where we're like, damn, I'm the outcast. I'm the loser. I'm this or I'm that. And there were themes in here that were bigger than just trans or not trans. The themes that belong to everybody. That it's okay to be yourself. That it's okay to be who you are. That it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to seek help. And I think our own prejudices and our culture and what we're going through today. That's why I fucking hate politics.
Well, but it was all over this episode, though.
And
it was, but I don't have to get everything that they're saying.
And it wasn't just about, it's not just about Topa either. It's about the relationship between Bordis and Clyden. because
Yeah.
Clyden betrayed. Okay, look, and I don't know if any of you out there have been in this situation before, but I want to tell you something. When you dedicate your life to someone, when you take that vow to dedicate your life to someone and you are with someone and they betray you, and then you just don't give a shit anymore. You lose that. You don't know how you lost it. You don't realize it until you take a long think about it and you think, why is this? And that's what Bortus was doing in the holodeck episode. He was just like, I don't want to feel this. I don't feel anything towards Clyden anymore. And he still doesn't. In a way, he doesn't. Yeah, it's hurt, but I think Bortus above everybody knew this was coming.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in that situation where you just don't care anymore, you know exactly what Bortus was going through in previous episodes, and you know exactly what happened in this episode, because he was done. It was weighing on him. It had continued to weigh on him. He wanted to leave this alone and let Topa decide one day what Topa was going to do. And Clyden couldn't have it. From the very beginning, Clyden argued with him. Clyden fought with him. It must be my way. I was this way, so this kid has to be this way. And if anything, Clobby, the reason why I disagree with you on this is because Clyden isn't the person saying that none of this should happen. Clyden is the Karen fucking mom out there that's like, my kid is this, I so with decree, and we're gonna pump hormones into him and we're gonna change him because I see them as this, not they see themselves as this. I'm on the total opposite spectrum of this. I think Clyden is the Karen mom that makes their kid go through a transition they never should have gone in the first place.
I have no more to say about the politics of the episode. I'm going to just go. I'm not even addressing anything anyone said anymore because it is not productive. I'll just tell you like this. Okay. This was, again, this is nothing like any of the issues that they've dealt with before. They did not deal with it in the same way they have been. I'm going to leave it at that, but I'll say this. I don't tune into this show for this kind of crap. I've loved this show because it has been a few things. Yeah, the humor's been there. Yes, the issues have been there. The philosophy has been there. Again, this is not philosophy. This is 2022 politics, pure and simple. I'm not here for that. You can get it on any other show. I watch this because they've done a clever spin on Star Trek where they do a lot of the same themes, but they make it feel and they act like Star Trek. And they brought back a lot of that spirit up until the past couple of weeks. And it has been a show that has been about a science fiction adventure. Yes, they've done a pretty good job of talking about certain modern day not modern day philosophies in general, and they've done that. They've done that very cleverly. The past 2 weeks, I don't care it's not like I even disagree with Arwyn on a lot of this stuff, or disagree with them on a lot of this stuff. Except for last week, I totally disagree with everything they were saying last week. It's not that I disagree with anyone on any of this stuff in this episode. That is not my overall point, even though I do think that we're ridiculously heavy-handed and biased, and I think a lot of it's arguable. I don't disagree with everything Arwyn said. What I'm saying is that is not what I go to the Orville for. That's not what I'm here for. I mean, you could do that. I could agree with every single thing they said in the episode or Arwyn said just now and still say, this is not what I want out of the Orville. And if it continues, I'll just be gone because it is using the show as a platform far more than it ever did. And I wanted a science fiction show that I was really enjoying. I cannot tell you, that's why I'm so upset right now because I loved this show. And I was so happy to see some semblance of Star Trek coming back to us in a different form, under a different name for sure. This, if you're going to keep doing this, then you're completely getting away from that. And if you get away from that, that's fine. You could all enjoy all these, the issues and all that. If you're having fun with that stuff, that's great. You turn it into a bore fest. That was an absolute. I don't care if I agree with every single thing said in the episode that they were trying to say. I would have been bored shitless because that's not what I signed up for. I can get it in every other piece of entertainment out there if I want it. And they've just done the same thing. I don't care how poignant you think everything they did is. That's not what I'm here for with this show. and I have nothing more to say about any of the politics of this episode. I walk away with nothing, no respect for almost anything done artistically in the episode. When I can't say that about, other than last week, about any other episode of this show from the first 2 seasons or even the first 3 episodes this year. That's where I'm coming from for the most part. Again, it's almost irrelevant, all these politics and these philosophies. Or any, like I said, I love Arwyn, and I don't disagree with a lot of the things she's saying right there. And if you think that's where I'm coming from, everyone, then I want to make that clear. That's not what this show meant to me, what it was about for me. And that's why if they keep it up, that's fine. Everyone else can have it. I don't need it.
Let me ask you something, though, Clobby. And then, yes, I'm going to get to your super chats, guys. Sorry I haven't gotten to them yet, but let me ask you this. When we have been talking about Star Trek, when we have been talking about what Star Trek used to be, one of the main things I have heard for the last 2.5 years doing this is Star Trek used to let you decide on your own. People might see it one way. This group over here might see it another way. But at the end of the day, Star Trek let you decide what your view on it was, whether it was politics or not, whether it was a theme or not. Star Trek left it up to the viewer to decide. Do you think that they have done this with the Orville?
I don't think so. And I like Pacific. No offense. I thought Star Trek never did it. It did it well, and it did it in a clever way. But sometimes heavy-handed, even real Trek. I haven't been blackpilled, Ruben. That's idiocy. But I'm not gonna get into this. That's why I didn't really want to talk about this today. It did it sometimes in a much more clever, subtle way. Pacific, not like this. It's very different, but that's fine. I'm not good. I didn't even want to talk about this today, to be honest with you, because I'm just going to be done with the show. I'm not happy with it, and I don't want to talk about any of the people. Can call me what they want out there. I don't give a shit.
Psychodorf 9 with $5 super says, my first
Blackpill
wife
yourself.
started a $5,000 coke habit. I get it. He gets it. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Snowdub with $2 super chat. Skull and tuck and roll. Thank you so very much, Psychodorf 9 and Snowdub. Darius Munchausen, excuse me, with a $1.49 super sticker, and it is a bag of popcorn. The popcorn is flying today. Abso-freaking-lutely. And thank you all so very much for your super chats. You guys keep the fires in Valhalla burning bright. And this one is just for you guys. Skull!
A dollar? I've never seen a dollar. Nobody's got a dollar. Let us see the dollar. There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
Okay. Now that we've had a little snicker, because yes, it's a dollar bill, and that's OG. We don't need attacks against the panel. We don't need attacks against the chat. This is a discussion. This is why we're here. We are at the lunch table. We are talking about something that is controversial. Should it be controversial? We're talking about it.
Well,
we're having
another thing I'll say there, Loki. Look, they did a lot of things that were very philosophical and like about a girl. I love the episode. So it's not like I'm sitting there saying they've been doing this all along. I'm talking about the past 2 weeks. I love this show. It means the world to me. I'm so devastated to see them take this direction because I'm so excited about the show coming back. I love it. So if you're out there saying he's just an Orville basher, you don't know me. I was so excited about this show to coming back. Oh my God. I've watched those first 2 seasons over and over again. Just so those who don't know me, and calling me Blackpill and all this kind of crap. I love it. And I even like the first few episodes of the season, especially the opening episode. So for me to see a show going in a certain direction I don't like, believe me, this is coming from a place, it might sound like anger, and I get it. It's more like disappointment that they're doing some things I don't really like. I love this show. Love it. Just so you'll know, my friends. Anyway, that's it.
Well, Clobby, I want to support you in that this season does have a really different feel. There's no denying that. It is gone to the crossroads and it has turned left when before it was going right. And I don't mean that politically. I just mean, it's a different feel. It's got a different mood. It's presenting different themes. So look, there's no denying that, y'all. It is completely different feel and animal than it was from season 1 and 2. If that's okay and you're cool with that, great.
Yeah.
If you're not, there's no shame in that. If it's not giving you what it used to give you, there's no problem in that. You're right. Doesn't mean you're black-pilled. Doesn't mean you're this. Doesn't mean you're that. It just means you're not enjoying it as you used to. I've had shows do that to me. I've had shows and I've been disappointed.
Yeah. I hope next week's great.
That's all right.
If next week's great, you're going to hear me bouncing off the walls, loving it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm more disappointed than anything.
That's me. Yeah. I don't even disagree with everything they do this week. Last week, I disagree with everything. I don't even disagree with everything. I got to tell you that. I just found it to be boring because when you're heavy-handed, I find it boring. To be honest, and it's not really science fiction.
Guys, give me just a minute. Ruben Christopher Haynes, dude, we all have an opinion. The mods are there to make sure that there is no bullshit that happens behind the scenes, and it is their call. I do not keep track of everything, and I do not block people, mute people, ban people. That's their job, and I completely trust them to do their job. I appreciate you for being here. I love the fact that you're in chat almost every single morning, but it is their job to watch over chat and make sure no bullshit happens. So, yes, seriously. Adega Outlaw with a $9.99 super chat. It is losing its escapism with the deep drama.
And it was so good at using the deep drama and still being. I mean, that show could be brutal in the first 2 seasons and really make you think and gut punch you, and still you walk away being thoroughly entertained. I mean, this show was brilliant for 2 seasons. Like I said, I love the first episode of this new season, and that first episode of this season, Electric Sheep. I mean, that was a gut punch. That episode ripped my guts out in the best of ways. I'm like, this is just so good, this show. That's not what I got for the past couple of weeks. Even when I agree with something, or I can totally agree with something and go, yeah, I'm disturbed that they're going in this direction. And everything, like I said, people say Star Trek used to be, well, if Star Trek was never political, it was philosophical. And it did deal with tough subjects. And they do it more on the Orville than they did on Trek. And they've done it so well. But sometimes there's a way to do it, I guess, that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't really like the way they did it this week. Especially maybe it's coming off of that last week, which I hated so much. If next week it's just a good science fiction story with weighty issues, even that's entertaining, and this, because I love these people, I love this characters, I love this show. You don't understand how much I love it. I was so happy to have it back. If it's that next week, I'll be the first one bouncing off the walls going, wow, that was great. Sorry about that.
No. You're fine. And he gave you a warning, dude. He didn't mute you. He didn't throw you in the back. He didn't ban you. He gave you a warning. He told you were walking up to a line. So yes, I will back my wrench. He never acted like God. He just said, hey, you're walking up to a line. Be careful, because Mark doesn't want to mute anybody. None of the wrenches here want to mute anybody, kick anybody out, do anything like that. They just want us to have a good show. And when I have to deal with it, I have to come in and deal with it. So there we go. Daryl the Derelict with $5 super chat. For the Clobby rant, cheers, my friends. I knew this was going to be a crazy morning this morning. And June Wong with $5 super chat. Every day I'm stressed from these politics. I do not want to see the same stuff in my entertainment, which is why I turned off last week and not watch. And I completely understand that. There's from what Clobby's saying and from what I've heard from other people, they get enough of this in Star Trek. They don't want it in the Orville.
Just not to this extent, I'm saying. I mean, look again, About a Girl is a brilliant episode, and it's what our friend Raquel calls the Socratic dialect. They made no bones about in that episode where the creators of the episode stood philosophically and morally, and yet they made you think, and they presented things in a pretty even-handed way. It's a brilliant story. Look, I've watched many things or read many things over the course of my way too long life that I totally disagreed with even sometimes, and I didn't disagree with anything in that episode of About a Girl, and still got something out of it and was walked away. If it was really smart and clever entertainment, go, wow, I didn't necessarily agree with some of the things they said in that episode, but it was still, or this book or whatever, it was fascinating and interesting to me, and I got a lot out of it. But when it's sermonizing and it's using tricks to portray the opponents of the view rather than I think basically an unfair way or in a disingenuous way, that's when I have problems.
You know what? One problem to me that I saw with this episode is there was no consequences for violating what the Admiralty said not to do. There was no consequences to Mercer, to Ed. He got bitched out by an Abro who at the end smiled at the end of her bitch out like, good job. Nothing happened to oh my God, I can't think of his name. Dave Bob's using his picture right freaking now.
Isaac.
Thank you. God, help me. Nothing happened to Isaac because he's a Kalon.
They need him, yeah.
So,
that is one thing I did love about this episode. And because when I was watching this, I was thinking, all right, let's go into sci-fi. We're dealing with alien species here. We're dealing with an alien race, a single-sex alien race. And basically the trial and consequences of their choices as a culture. And you're bringing that into the mix. You're bringing that into the Union and there are other alien races. And I was thinking, when I first saw the very original episode where she was born, is I thought, damn, it would be bold if they went down this detransition route. Because this is an alien species. This is what they do. How the hell is the Union going to handle this? And then you've got a Kalon involved who actually does the operation. You've got all these relations and all these tensions. If you just strip away all the politics and just look at it as a sci-fi story and alien relations and how we're dealing with them, they're dealing with us. There's different customs and cultures. Look at the guy who showed up naked. And Kelly's like, dude, can you just put some pants on? Let's call it a day. I mean, you know, it was fascinating because I'm like, how are they going to handle that? Mm-hmm. How is this going to resolve itself? And that was way back when the original episode came out. So from kind of a sci-fi soap opera point of view, I thought it was beautifully done. And it made me think beyond just, you know, okay, there's this child and what's going on. Again, I was looking at kind of a bigger picture. And all, you know, are the Mocklins going to pull out of the Union? Are they going to stay? What's the Kalon threat going to be like now? How the hell is all of this going to mesh and going to meld? And what's going to happen now? Yeah. So it has definitely set things up for further stories.
Gun Bunny says, I got teary-eyed when Bordas told Topa she was perfect. So did I. Yeah. Absolutely. And to kind of get back on there's no consequences, something should have happened. At the end of the day, they did this and they did it for Topa. Mm-hmm. The price can't just be Clyden leaving because Clyden betrayed Bordas. It wasn't the other way around. Bordas didn't betray Clyden. Clyden betrayed Bordas when all of this started by saying, no, you don't have an opinion. I went through this, so I'm the only one that knows. And that's what Bordas did. Bordas said, I went through this, so I know you don't know anything. And treated Bordas like he was nothing. Like he didn't have any opinion in this situation. He didn't have any right to say anything about what was going to happen. Clyden knows best. Clyden's going to get what Clyden wants.
And the only thing valid about Clyden is Clyden actually did go through it as a kid.
Yeah. And that it's wrong. Why do you this is why Bordas ended up on that holodeck doing what he was doing. Because of the betrayal of what happened and the fact that he didn't believe he had a partner anymore. When you dedicate yourself to someone and you give them everything you've got and they betray you.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty. There's no anything there anymore.
Well, the Union also took a very big risk by backing this, even though it was kind of wink, wink, whatever. You did it this way, you did it that way. They decided themselves to risk one of the most powerful forces in the Union to just go their own way. And like you said, no consequences.
That we know of. I mean, next week hasn't shaken out yet. We don't know.
We'll see.
And there may not be consequences necessarily from the Union, but there may be bigger consequences with the Mocklins and Kalons. That's what I'm saying. It was a very powerful episode because there were so many themes being addressed here. We don't know how that's going to affect the alien relations.
I'm a firm believer that you can do something right for the right reasons and still have to pay a price for it.
That's true.
And I think it would have been a much deeper episode had something like that happened. To me, anyway, I thought there should have been a consequence, and that even when you do the right thing for the right reasons, you still have to pay a consequence for it.
Yeah, I mean, we see that happen every day. So yeah, that would have been interesting.
Mr. Tickletrunk brings up a very good point with $5 super chat. He said, it doesn't help that these topics have been poisoned in common discourse, entertainment, and in politics. The Orville is great, but not perfect.
No, nothing's perfect. No, I mean, yeah.
But he has a point. When did it come to the point where we couldn't have these types of conversations?
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen? Where it was like, no, this is taboo. You can't talk about this. Oh, you might get fired. Oh, you might get canceled.
Well,
someone might come along and destroy your career because you have an opinion.
You can talk about it if you have the right opinions, though.
Captain Spire, how is Strange New Worlds doing? Haven't watched it.
Oh, God. The Gorns are now Alien and Aliens 2.
It's horrible. If it's not real Trek, it's trash. And people who are liking it can just go. I mean,
excuse me.
Psychodorf 9, in the United States Air Force, Mercer would have lost flying status. He went against orders. There should have been a price. There should have been a price.
I'm gonna risk myself and say something here.
No risk here.
And I've been I've been guilty of this too. Okay, I've had my own hypocritical moments. I have. But when Isaac looked at Clyden and basically mentioned I wrote it down. What was it? Because I was just like, oh my God, his cultural indoctrination. Okay. Sometimes I think even us as fans and in this community, I think we get bogged down in our own cultural indoctrination, no matter where you stand on an issue. And I'm not talking politics. I'm talking herd mentality. If you don't see this, you're wrong. If you didn't pick this up, you're full of shit. I see a lot of that. And I don't say a lot about it because it's uncomfortable. And it's, you don't want to shine spotlight on the negative things all the time. And I don't like negativity. I like people having their opinions. And I love it when we can come together. Like Clobby, I completely support you saying, look, Orville's not what it used to be for me. And I'm fucking disappointed because I love this show and I don't like the track it's going down. Brother, that's the way you feel. That's valid. It is going down a different road. It does not feel the same as it used to. That is completely valid. But I would never look at you and say, Clobby, I can't believe you didn't see the beauty and the power in this episode that I saw. So you're full of shit. I would never do that because I respect you and I respect your opinion and you have a right to it. And
but you could do that and I would still, and I wouldn't mind. I would still love it because
I know
you get away with it.
But
I'm not trying to be frivolous with you. I was just saying you could do it and I don't mind because I can handle it. That's all I mean. But yeah.
I know. But we all come from our own cultural indoctrination at some point. We all have our own ideas. that makes us us. And we all have things that we approve of and don't approve of, that we want, that we don't want. And that line, when he said that, it blew my mind, because that, I'm like, man, sometimes when I watch this shit, I got to take myself out of our own BS that we're going through in this world and realize I'm watching something else. If I really want to submerge myself in the sci-fi of it, that's what I have to do, because I come with my own biases, my own preconceived ideas, you know, my own prejudices, my own likes, wants, desires.
Oh, we all
whatever.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
We all do.
Oh, God,
the fact that we can come together and talk about it, not everyone's going to like everything. That's great. But when the attacks start, that's when a line needs to be drawn. And you need to say, okay, whoa. Why the hell do we need to attack each other over this stuff? No, I don't have to see it the way anybody else has to see it. I don't. I'm my own individual. I am unique. I have my own brain. I have my own mindset. And I have my own bullshit that I bring to the table. We all do. And that is okay. That's all right.
Absolutely. No, look, I love what you're saying. Absolutely with you there, Arwyn. And yeah, I mean, but we should all be, we should all be able to disagree and stuff like that. That's what I thought this show used to do very well. Hey, by the way, Ruben Christopher Haynes, I appreciate that, brother. You know, and what you were saying earlier. And look, you love the show, man. I do too. I might still be I guess so far I'll still wear my Orville hat that I bought. But
is that the comment you were talking about?
Yeah, Ruben, I appreciate that, baby. And look, I'm with you, man. No, we're all fans here. You know, I'm just if I didn't care about the show, I would probably just be making fun of it like I do the fake Star Trek out there that I hate, the Klutzman Trek so much. I just make fun of that. And you know, if I guess I wouldn't be upset emotionally right now about the way I think the show's going. I would be just laughing at it, going, another here we go again. And I am concerned about it being a here we go again moment, Arwyn. But there's 2 episodes. It's not like I'm really up. Believe me, I guess my heart was so set on this coming back and being so excited that I was. I guess I'm just very disappointed by what they did the past 2 weeks. I hope they get that out of their system. I just want to see great stories. And like I said, though, you can make me uncomfortable and still do they did it. This show was so good. There were things they did that were disturbing on this show. And I thought, wow, that was so good and so disturbing in a good way. I think they've lost that. I think they've lost that objectivity in the past couple of weeks. I hope they get it back. And so, but look, I'm with you, Ruben. I love the show, man. And I don't want to lose it, but it might lose me.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Like I said, I could totally agree with something they're saying and still not be thrilled with how they handle it and the way they do it. And it's just 2 episodes, so I guess I shouldn't worry too much. But that's a topic that you can't even really talk about very much without getting in trouble, unless you have the right opinions.
Mr. Tickle Trunk with the $2 Canadian Super Chat says, at the end of the day, we're all still fans of this show. And I want to say something about that before I throw you guys out of school. I want to say something about that. There was this talk at the beginning of this season that this show is no longer Fox. That this show
it's Disney.
Has grown up now. That's not what was said, though, at the beginning of the season. That this show had grown up from the slapstick 50% Family Guy, 50% Star Trek to a better show. That's what was said at the beginning of the season. A lot of people said it. That the comedy had been toned down and the seriousness had been turned up, and that it was more grown up than it was before, because Fox wanted half Family Guy, half Star Trek.
Yeah. It got him in the door, though. At least it got the show made, him putting the comedy in there.
Yes, it did. But people were happy that it was growing up. People were happy. And now, not so happy. They wanted this. People wanted this. And I'm not talking about you, Clobby.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry.
I'm just saying that, no, you're fine. I'm just saying that People wanted something more grown up, and now it's getting more grown up, and some people don't like the fact that it's grown up, that wanted it to be more grown up and less comedy. I love the comedy. We need no longer fear the banana. Hey, open this jar of pickles for me. I fucking love that. Every time he said it, open this jar of pickles for me. And she left him a jar of pickles, and I was in fucking tears. I was like, oh my God, she left him a jar of pickles on his desk.
It's been so good. The show's been so good, man. That's what's killing me.
Oh, I agree with the Dago when he's like, just be careful what species cake you eat. You might end up with a nasty reaction. Oh, yeah. I love that scene.
Right.
Oh my God, that was great.
It was so good though.
It was so good. You know, that's one thing I missed this season also was my old Gordon. Gordon's my favorite character. We've gotten almost no real Gordon yet. I need a Gordon episode. I might be a lot happier if we got a Gordon episode that wasn't telling me what a horrible person I was at the same time. That would be, I'd love to see that. That's my boy Gordon. He's the best.
Yeah. Well, in real life, he's married to old Kelly.
He was, but not anymore.
Oh, they split already?
I believe so. But you know, Scott Grimes is an awesome dude who will talk to you on Twitter and even follows me for some strange reason. And I've talked to him before about even politics a little bit. Nice guy. Just as a side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of telling someone to go fuck off.
Uh-oh. Someone, whoever you are, fuck off. I'm just joining you. I mean, I wanted to support your
solidarity, right, Clobby?
Right. I don't even know why,
dude.
Whoever that someone is. Oh, that bad, huh?
I have not seen this week's show yet, but will this weekend. Last week's show absolutely sucked, and the level of excitement I had for this season is starting to give me the Last Jedi vibe. Mexican Iron Man.
I'm right there with you, Mike.
Yep.
And I hope it changes. Look, if it changes, I'll sit there and go, hey, man, like people that you love will piss you off sometimes. A show I love, if it pisses me off sometimes, that's okay. If it comes back, I mean, I don't know if it will, but if it doesn't, I'll go, hey, I was still a fan of a lot of the show. And
I thought it was beautifully done. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a very powerful episode. And oh my God, y'all, the music. Can we talk about the music?
You like
the
that?
Music was amazing.
Production value.
That classical rendition of "You'll Never Walk Alone" had me freaking in tears. It really did.
You know,
just one little girl's opinion.
No, it's your opinion, and I'm proud of it. I'll tell you this, Arwyn, and one thing that struck me even more because of the episode I had problems with. It almost made me even see this more. The production values of this show are out of this world. If you're part of it. They are. I mean, this looks like a gigantic budget each week. A gigantic budgeted movie. It looks so fantastic. The way it's produced, the sound, everything. It's unreal how great it looks. I mean, no matter what the episode is.
And the acting, God, y'all, they're Bordas, Clayton, Topa. They all have these massive prosthetics on.
Yes.
But my God, the power behind their acting was insane. And I geek out about the acting, being an old theater nerd. Totally geek out about the acting. And yeah, it just, whether you agreed with it or not, you know, the themes of the show, it was powerfully done. It really was. Everyone's performance was on point.
Yes. I mean, look, there's no question about the show. It was
a heavy episode all the way around. It really was.
It's so well made, Arwyn. Mm-hmm. I might have trouble with it. I'll tell you one thing about the show that's kind of, before I did not expect any of the things that I would be saying this past 2 weeks. You know what did worry me before going into it? That may or may not start happening, though, is after we had all these years, I was thinking, you know what? I love the Star Trek, the original series so much. I love that format of each week. It's almost like an anthology that just happens to have recurring characters. I wanted an individual science fiction story that has almost no connective tissue continuity wise. I know we're not going to get that in any modern show, but I almost prefer like short stories, in other words. And I loved that at least the Orville, yes, there was continuity. Yes, there were portents, but I always loved that we were getting pretty individual stories in those first 2 seasons. And I was hoping that it wouldn't change where we were going to get arcs, a lot of over extending arcs and soap opera stuff. And and different things that I was like almost all modern TV gets. I was hoping we wouldn't get a lot of that, and we're starting to see a lot of that too. And I'm like, wow, we're going to get away from the standalone episode stories and stuff like that, episodic television. That to me is something that has nothing to do with politics or anything like that, by the way. That is a story narrative that I don't prefer. I hope that's not what we're going to get going forward. It seems like we kind of are. So that's something that concerns me. Forget about any kind of political thing. Mm-hmm. That's just me, though. This is a preference on my part.
Project Storytime, the Orville made us care about a ball of snot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great writing.
Yeah, when he was on there this week, I just.
Yeah.
He only had 2 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess he'll be in a few more. I guess. Poor Norm.
I love the holodeck scene when they showed the courtroom with the female Mocklin.
That was powerful.
That was an amazing. I think that was an amazing deal that they did because they didn't look out of place. Some of that was redone just for this episode, but some of it was from the episode, and it was almost seamless how they did it. You can tell they've upped their game and they've upped their budget.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to have to leave here in a minute, take my son to work. But I will say, for me, what this episode summed up, particularly when they were showing, the female Mocklin in there, is despite all odds, you can still achieve great things. And that includes accepting yourself for who you are. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been there, and it is hard. It is hard. And that was the overall theme that I got out of this particular episode. All of the politics aside, all of the preconceived ideas aside, it's okay to love yourself. And who the hell hasn't been there at one time or another? And Clobby, I get your point of view. Dave Bob, I get yours. Loki, I kind of think we're on the same page with this. But yeah, and that's why to me, it really struck a chord.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
What would you rate this episode? Before you go, what would you rate this episode?
I give it a 10, y'all. I give it a 10. That is how it impacted me. I give it a 10. I understand it's polarizing. I really do understand why people are like, what the fuck, Orville? I get it. I do. But it's also a 10 in that it's getting people talking. Y'all, it's a TV show. And here we are. And we're talking about it, and we're having discourse, and we're understanding. We're not hurling insults at each other. We're not saying, oh, anyone who thinks, Orville isn't shit now is full of shit. We're not doing that. We're talking to each other. That's why I love about this community. That's what I miss. Because to be fair and to be real raw, I haven't seen a lot of that lately. I've seen more this side, that side. And that has discouraged me. And that has burnt me out. But I think this episode is bringing people back to talking like people to each other, or at least it should. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. I got to go take my kid to work. Clobby, Dave Bob.
Love you, Arwyn.
Chat. Yeah, I love all y'all. And I really I enjoy discussions with y'all. Even if we don't agree, I enjoy it because I love y'all.
Well, I love you.
All right, sweethearts. Y'all have a good one.
Be safe, Arwyn. Thank you.
Wow, my new pal Ruben said he's watched it 4 times already. Dude, it's only been on since like what?
Last night.
Last night. Wow, well done, man. That's a lot, buddy.
Psychodorf 9 gives it a 10 out of 10. Dave Bob.
I'm not going to rate it because I can't be fair. I mean, like I said,
rate it. Just give us your opinion. I don't care about any of that. Just give us your opinion.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay. Tell us why.
I do not like the direction the show is going. I have a feeling that it's entirely slanted in a certain direction, and I don't like that.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you for letting us know. Clobberin Times.
I'll give it about a 2. I mean, and it only gets to that high because I've loved the show so much. For old time's sake, I won't give it a 0. And it's the production values are so brilliant and beautiful, and it's so well made and everything. It still deserves a lot of credit. And I just hate everything about the episode. Other than that, found it to be. I get bored when people are trying to tell me what I have to believe and everything like that. But I've only watched it the one time. I really have no interest in ever watching it again. But I'll still stay next week. I mean, if they did a couple of weeks in a row of this kind of stuff, I might have a different, different outlook. But I did not. And again, that's lower. That's a little bit higher than I rated last week, which I hated more. So yeah, that's about where I am on that, and just didn't like it. But look, there are episodes of the original Trek that I hated, but it was still Star Trek. So I'm gonna, this show has enough. It still has a lot of goodwill built up with me over the first 2 seasons. And even earlier in this season. So see what happens.
And we are getting a lot of different answers here in chat. Some people are absolutely for this episode. Some people are in the middle ground. Some people are giving it a 2, a 3, a 1. It's kind of all over the map. I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. And the reason why I'm going to give it a 7.5 is because I felt there should have been consequences. I saw a lot of this coming already. I did not think that Bortus and Clyden should have maintained their relationship after the holodeck thing. Bortus obviously has major issues with Clyden and what Clyden did and how Clyden has forced this entire situation. And he has continued to force this entire situation. His little wah baby wah shit at the end of this episode, where he's like, I hate you and you're nothing to me and I don't love you and wham. When Bortus looks at Topa and says, you are perfect to me, you shouldn't have had to do that, because they have completely, in my opinion, they have gone too far with what Clyden did. Clyden screwed up. Clyden made a mistake. He has not learned from that mistake at all. In the 3 years this show has been on, he has not learned from, or 3 seasons, because it's been more than 3 years, obviously. He has not learned from any of the mistakes he has made.
Right.
Clyden, and Script Doctor says it right there. Clyden acts like a bitch because that's who he is deep down.
Well, he's been set up that way. I mean, look what they did with him in that episode, Deflectors. He was absolutely a villain. He was horrible, which was a brilliant episode, by the way. Again, not preachy, but philosophical, and took a stance. Disturbing, brilliant episode. And Clyden was horrible. I mean, he's an absolute bigot, what he did in that episode. So they've made him completely unlikable right there. That was, and even after that, he killed Bortus, remember, at one point. So they've been building him up like that for a while.
And it's amazing. One of the things it's amazing to me, and it actually does get a point or 2 more from me just for this, is that I see Clyden as a Karen and other people see him as something else. And I don't think either one of us are wrong. I don't think Clobby's wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. It's just how we see the way they have set up this character. I think it is very much, Clyden is very much those moms that are enforcing this, no, you're this, when their kid is 2 years old, when their kid is a year old. Oh, well, I already know that it's not really a boy, that it sees itself as a girl. I already know that at 1 year old. You can't know that. There is no knowing that. There is no telling that. But that's the way they see it. I see very much Clyden as this Karen. He's a Karen. I don't see it the way Clobby sees it. But that doesn't mean he's wrong and I'm right. It's just the way I see it. And I think that us coming together and doing this morning, because I was like, I was worried last night when I watched this. I was like, okay, this is going to be, I'm going to have to put like a disclaimer out that, hey, you know what? Everybody's opinion is their opinion. And I don't ever do that. It's just kind of known that that we all see it our own way, and if somebody doesn't like it, they can kiss our ass. By all means, report me for that. Report the channel. Come after the channel. I got enough people coming after the channel anyway, trying to get us shut down. So by all means, come after us for that, for having an opinion. That I got to throw a fucking disclaimer out first thing in the morning that says, hey, you know what? We're all entitled to our opinion, and if you don't like it, you can kiss our big fat white asses.
Well, no one's even made any kind of real, giving really opinions on the actual real world things that this show is you taking sci-fi shortcuts to address. Remember, Topa is not, his situation is not even not analogous to real life, because that was someone who was, they knew for a fact was born as a female, and they forcibly changed, because of that society, changed, did the sex change on. And so it's not like a person just saying, I feel like I'm in the wrong body. None of that's there. So.
No, you're absolutely right. And Mr. Tickle Trunk, yes, with the $2 super chat, we respect each other enough to be 100% honest here. That's right. And thank you very much. Thank you all for that. Thank you all for hanging out with us on this review of the Orville. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all so very much for your super chats, because you guys keep us burning bright. You guys keep us going day after day, week after week, month after month. And eventually, Loki's going to need a vacation, because God almighty.
Well, you're halfway through the season, dude. We're halfway.
We're only halfway.
That was 5, right?
That was 5.
I think there's 10 episodes.
Yes,
there's 5 more episodes. And I saw a picture, and I don't know whether it was a Photoshop picture. I saw a picture last night on Twitter, but it's got the what's her name, Talea?
Jessica Shore. Oh, she's fantastic.
The chick that plays the
one that played the Krill
the Krill girlfriend.
I'm sorry, different one.
Okay. So her and Clyden standing next to each other on like a podium, and I was like, oh shit. No effing way. Her and Clyden.
Oh Lord. So yeah, I figured we'd see Clyden again at some point.
So I don't know. I don't know if that was a Photoshop or if that was real. I don't know. I'm not claiming it was, guys. But
no, that makes sense actually.
So guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so very much for your support.
Take care, everybody.
I couldn't do this without you. Take care, everybody. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend enter. And we'll be back tonight for the late show with Stone Loki.
Day, by the way. Yeah.
And Mexican Iron Man. Independence Day coming up, July 4th. Happy Independence Day for Canada today.
Canada Day, buddy. Yeah.
Canada Day.
Yep.
Take care, everybody. Go ahead, Dave Bob.
No, I was just going to say take care, everybody, and have a great day.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.